but that's usually what's causing the knees to pop up. Okay? So we pull sat on a block. So whenever we come into any cross leg position, it's ideal to get the hips higher than the knees. And if you look at any of the Buddha statues, the Buddha's always on a block or something. Okay? Does allow more space in the knees. I quite like sitting on a bolster or something. So the higher it is, the more accessible it is for some people.
Biggest thing to stress, and I do like it, there's a lot of things I don't like about Iyengar, but what I really like about it is the use of props.
Yeah.
He was criticised, but he shouldn't be, I don't think. Props aren't cheating. Unfortunately, the way people's mentality works, they seem to think if you use a prop is bolster, cushion, straps, bands, balls, bars, whatever. Pieces of equipment to help you get into the pose. So don't think it's cheating, it's not at all.
So with the Adept pose, this one comes into a little bit more energy work again. So I always remember it because women are always right. So with the Adept pose, it's the right leg that comes in first, and the heel wants to come right up into just underneath the vagina area. And so for some people, again, if your shin bones are really short, and your femur bones are really long, you're not going to get it there. You might have big fat thighs, you're not going to get it there. So for some people to actually get there, it's quite hard. Sitting on a block again can help, and then the right leg comes in front, so probably your Adept pose. For the boys come left leg in first, and then the right leg comes in. So again, if you were going to do an energy channel class, then that would be relevant, which foot is going to come in. What I would normally do, if I was going to get people, I would do both. So if I was going to do like a pranayama while I was sitting in this position or something like that, I might say, right, we're going to do 10 minutes in this position, and then we're going to switch, because you will naturally go one leg in front of the other. Like now I'm like, oh, that feels really uncomfortable. Okay? So again, pulls on a bolster, on a block, so it's much easier in that position. But when it comes to any, like the butterfly, the half butterfly, any of these positions where we are sitting cross-legged, what actually happens is the femur bone, so from the knee towards the hip, it externally rotates. So what externally rotates means it's rolling outwards. So people often think of, right, I need to bring the foot in, and it's actually got nothing to do with the foot. It's like I need to externally rotate the leg, which then allows the foot to come in. And when we come on to pigeon, I don't think the pigeon's in this book because it's not required. When we're in the class, we'll do pigeon when I'm with you. It's an external rotation of the thigh. So often you'll see people trying to grab their foot in, and it's got nothing to do with the foot. So they need to turn the femur bone inside of the hip and then turn that one. So if you look at some of the old Indian pictures, I don't know how they've done it because they look like they're made of rubber. But it almost looks like this part of their leg is upside down on the floor. And that's how much external rotation they have in their hips, is that this leg is so turned that it almost looks upside down, and that's how they can get the foot right up to the opposite hip. So go and Google some of those pictures. It looks like they've got, like their bones are made of rubber. So pause in that position now, just from the side. What you're aiming to do is to get the spine straight. The chin is slightly back, and I do like to give a tiny little dropped chin in this position just to create length in the back of the neck. And you can say to people, just imagine your head is against. So this can be used for meditation. Again, you can do your pranayamas in this position. You can start your class in this position. You can end your class in this position. Or maybe if you've had like a really strong flow and you just want to give people just a bit of a chance to, before you come into some seated poses, you can put it in there. Like I said, I tend to normally, just because of the nature of our clients, I don't actually use this very often because not many people can sit in that position. So I would say to them, just sit in whatever position you can sit straight in, because Like I said, with the breathing, for some people, breathing is so hard for them. Sitting like this is also very challenging. So one of the main goals of the physical yoga was to to strengthen and make our bodies flexible enough that we can sit in meditation for 8, 9, 10 hours. So this is why we do that. So Paul, you're going to go through a maximum. I've kind of covered some of it, but
You covered most of it, darn you. So
is going flat.
this is one of the most oldest poses in yoga. Again, for me, forget all the hand to knee extension. In fact, that's just a Dutch extension. That's a Dutch gymnastic movement that was incorporated into yoga. This is one of the ancient ones, one of the oldest ones. In fact, most of the seated ones were the original. That's all yoga was. And I'm not saying that from knocking at it, I actually like that part of it. For me, yoga is about meditation. It's about stilling the fluctuations of the mind. So you're trying to still the body in a pose, keep it still, keep it unmoving, then focus on your breath, keeping your breath still, controlled. And then you can't possibly hope to keep your mind still if you can't even keep your body still. So the aim with any pose is supposed to be, originally, can you keep it still? One of the reasons I personally don't like flow yoga, to me it's just not yoga. And that's just my personal approach. So in this position, Terry's already mentioned external rotation. I've got people who have problems with the hip. If you've got a problem with your hip restriction, it usually manifests itself in the knee. I'll give an example. If I was to do butterfly, I know that my left one, I'm not deliberately doing that, I know my left one is much higher than my right because I've got an issue with left. What I want my pelvis in the Adept pose to be higher than my knees. It takes pressure off the knees, that's all. But it's, as Tony mentioned, external rotation of the female. Okay, let's talk about the spine now, and this isn't just in relation to this pose, it's any pose whatsoever. You want the spine erect, you want it tall. From a yoga point of view, is to allow the energy to flow around. I'm not going to go into too much depth. Let your breath, with your breathing, you're letting the energy flow around your spine, through your spine, so eventually Kundalini can rise up through the Sushumna. If you are into the energy challenge, you might not be. You might think, oh, well, tosh. And you will get clients that feel like that. I've got a couple of clients that are ex-teachers, scientists, they don't want to know all about the energy and the power of the mind. They're not interested. Anyway, the spine wants to be tall. And one of the reasons is to let your breath flow, to let energy flow. Everyone okay with that? Mm-hmm. From a meditation point of view, and it's from the Buddha, most places will say you only meditate with the spine upright. The Buddha himself said you can reach enlightenment by meditating with lying down as well. There's certain circumstances where you can lie down and meditate. But the superior position is with the spine upright, perpendicular to the floor. For those that like science, and it's interesting, and the reference for this is Sapolsky, and he's on YouTube. He does loads of, he's very funny, he's very good actually. Anyway, within a 2-hour lecture of his, he mentions about the physiology of how having a tall spine, being upright, can affect happiness. It's how it affects, how it balances on the brain. He did explain it fully, but basically it alters the part of the brain associated with happiness. He doesn't explain the science of it, and his name is Sapolsky. Anyway, so it's not just, yeah, because you'll get people that love the energy stuff and visualizing the energy flow around the body, the breath energizing different parts, different chakras, you've been to chakras as well. So you can visualize that. But it's supposed to be the more superior position, the spine being flat, being upright. And again, from a science point of view, it's supposed to stimulate a part of the brain associated with happiness.
If you think of it, just sitting, let me fell off my. If you think of, you try and laugh when you're sitting in like this kind of position. If you try and laugh, what do you want to do? You want to look up. So you can see it with clients when they walk in. If someone's feeling really depressed and down that day, the head's going to be down, the shoulders are going to be rounded. If someone's joyful in that, they're going to be more up. So, it's a good way to actually really read what's going on with your clients when they walk through the door. And then they're like, oh, how did you know I was upset? It's like, well, I've read your body language.
Some of your self-study as well, some of the questions, they'll mention about mudras. Now, most people seem to think mudras just hands. It's not. Your whole body can be a mudra. Viparati Karani springs to mind. It can be where your tongue is. All I'm getting at is get away that mudras are just about the hand positions, doing various contorted hands. But what I want to mention was you'll often see a part of that mudra with the thumbs are pointing up. Now, to some people, if you're in, again, this all stems from Hindi. Each finger, each pad, each hand, there's a different deity associated with that palm compared to that palm. There's a different deity associated with each thumb. If you want to go into that, fine. Spend a lifetime studying it. But so what I'm getting at is, you may very well get some people saying, no, it's going to be the right over the left. And you get others saying, no, it's going to be the left over the right. There's some that wax lyrical about the thumb should be pointing up. Some say it should be just folded in. Some say it should be pointing to the front. No right or wrong. They're coming at it from a philosophy point of view or from a religious stroke spiritual energy point of view. What most people tend to do, and to me it's a mistake because even the Buddha self said more or less the same himself, is because that's the pose that the Buddha was in when he reached enlightenment. And as he said, and this is the whole point of all the different types of yogas, there is a million different, all roads lead to Rome. I'll use that analogy. There's loads of different ways you can reach enlightenment. And again, this has been the self-study because we have questions on it. Some people you just literally have to fix and meditate, just staring at a wall for 9 years. Actually, actual case, actually. Just doing study, as in just studying the scriptures, the Upanishads. That you'll reach enlightenment just by studying, just by being devotional, chanting, Bhakti yoga. There's loads of different yogas, Kriya yoga. There's loads of them. Karmic yoga, which is basically keeping it simple, just lead a good life, throw out light balls into the universe. So there's more than one way of reaching enlightenment. Anyway, that's it with the deck.
Are you going to go off on a tangent?
It's a relevant tangent because if you haven't looked at the worksheets, there are questions on this that you've got to do your own study.
I don't teach mudras in the class because I don't do them myself. Like to me, the most I would consider a mudra, you can't see my knees. So, if I want to be grounded and I need to just like, let's say something's happened and my head's all over the place, the most I would probably do is palms facing down. On a day that I feel like, oh, I need inspiration or I need support or love from the universe, my palms will be facing up. That's about as far as I go in a mudra, and I might do Anjali mudra as well. I'll do that one in the class, and of course Namaste and stuff. So I always believe, and this goes for everything that we do in our life, it's like teach only the stuff that you use and that you believe in.
Well, that gels with you. Yeah.
And that's integrity, that. Yeah. Don't teach stuff just because you think Mary down the road is teaching stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your books, so you'll have, so you've got all the different positions, the benefits, how you would modify it. So, like I said, sit on a block. It's on page 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Modifications and what can go wrong. So, with the modifications, like sitting on blocks, so a lot of people can't even sit in this position, so they're going to have their legs straight. They're going to have to sit on a bolster. So when you're doing your self-practice and when you're doing the study, it's like go through the modifications to see how it feels in your body. And you might find, oh yeah, like I love hero pose because it makes me, like I said, I can be quite lazy sometimes. So hero pose forces me to sit up straight. Because I haven't got the most flexible hamstrings, but I've got pretty good external rotation in my hips. And I find when I'm sitting cross-legged, I lean into my pelvis. So you can see I'm actually sitting up. That's quite comfortable for me, but that's not a proper spine. That's not a straight spine. So for me, hero pose is forcing me to sit up straight. So see how these things feel in your body. Okay? And then you mentioned contraindications. It's such a big word for basically who shouldn't do it or what to be careful of. Tight hips and knee issues. At the bottom of page 3, there's something there just for space for you to work out your own observations. So when you're doing your own practice, it's like, oh yeah, I really liked sitting on a block, or the block inhibited me, or I could feel stiffness in my hips. So this book is your study book. So write in it. I've had someone say, oh, they're too nice to write in it, but it's there for you to write in. This is your Bible. Have you got any questions about the Adept pose?